Now let's get talking. Investing in properties can be a smart way to build wealth and secure a stable financial future. Lagos, Nigeria is a vibrant city with a growing population and economy, making it an attractive location for property investment. With me in the studio live is a real estate investment coach, a trainer, an investor, and a marketing and sales strategist. A lot, but let's get talking. Dr. Simon Adozi, thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And it's the first time on the program. We appreciate it.
Yes, and it's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. Let's start with what I said in my introduction. Why Lagos? Why does everyone think that this is the place where you can get return on investment? What is that? What is spectacular about this place?
Okay, so you have 28 million housing deficit in Nigeria, 28 million. And guess how much developers are able to build every year? We're able to build, according to REDAN, we're able to build, REDAN is Real Estate Association, Developers Association of Nigeria. We're able to build between 250 to 300 houses yearly. Sorry, 250 to 300,000 houses yearly. Now you have 28 million deficit. You have 300,000. Let's even make it 500,000. You have, well, if you do the math, you need like 56,000 years to be able to solve housing deficit. Now, let me tell you, out of the 300,000 that we are able to churn out every year, according to REDAN, Lagos has 48% of those developments in Lagos only. Abuja kind of accounts for about 15%. Now, if Lagos and Abuja is taking 65% of that 300,000, that means it tells you that this is where the economy is going. Well, Lagos, they say, for every 1 hour, 6 people join the population of Lagos. And Lagos is a place that is exceptionally, well, has the feel of safety, has the feel, everybody has a Lagos dream. You know, you see some people living in other parts of Nigeria and they tell them, once you get into Lagos, you will make it. So everybody, there's a dream that is sold to us in Lagos. Yeah. Well, Lagos is somehow industrialized. All the ports are here. All the multinationals are here too and all that. So you can expect that Lagos is an urban metropolis. So that is why there is a lot of demand on real estate in Lagos.
You seem to be passionate about making every Nigerian a homeowner because, you know, went through doing my research about you. I really want to ask, can we really make housing affordable, accessible? I don't know, middle class? You understand where I'm headed?
Well, you know that there is no more a middle class.
So is
either you are rich or you are under. Or you are not rich or you are under the rich. So, but this is it, right? Okay. There's nothing called affordable housing.
Honestly, I don't.
Let's even trash the idea. It's not, housing is not affordable. But you know what? You can make a conscious effort to own it, right? So real estate companies like ours, we're beginning to come up with solutions that will make people be able to, you know, pay in installment because our mortgage system here is underdeveloped. It doesn't really work, if I would say that, because, I mean, how would you can't control inflation, you can't control lending rates. How will you control mortgages? It's not possible. You know, there's a lot of gaps. So, for example, if you're offering me something in mortgage, you tell me, okay, pay within 20 years, and in 20 years, what you are charging me in 20 years' time is not the actual price of the property according to evaluation. So it doesn't make sense for me to take it, because if you're offering me the same building for 200 million, you're telling me to pay 200 million over a 20 years period, right? And in 20 years, I know from projection that that building would not be worth over 100 million. So why do I have to go for those transactions? So my passion is just bringing people to basis. Let's start from the basis. We can't all live in Lekki. True. We can't all live in Ikeja. We can't all live in all those tush parts. So let's open up the rural areas where it is not too urbanized now, but we know that there are potentials of people going there. For example, Ekpe, the popular Ekpe, that everybody is, we created the awareness. When everybody didn't want to go to Ekpe, we were telling people, go and buy the bush now because you will need it. And people just come up with the idea of, I want to buy a house. What do? Your average income per year is like 3 million, and you're telling me you want to buy a house of 60 million. How do you want to afford it? So that has been the challenge. So we have kind of created good payment structure for people, that they can use to, fund real estate projects and all that. But let's trash the idea of affordable real estate, because on the developer side, if I have to speak, I'm on one project and I have bought cement for 4 or 5 different prices since I started.
Iron rods. That's a
no-no
area.
Because immediately price of diesel goes up.
Yeah.
It immediately has an effect on what the cost of building materials are. So you cannot even say building is affordable. And those costs have to be transferred somewhere. And it has to come back to you, the end user.
Because you're not dashing money out.
Exactly.
It's a business.
So let's start. You just start from the basics. Own a land first. That's how I started. That's how I got my first house. So what I did was that, okay, I plugged into different landed projects that I know that has potentials. So, for example, there was one I bought for 4.8. It was so strategic that they gave me 12 months to pay that 4.8 and without interest. And I know that this land has potential. So I keyed into it. I bought 3 plots.
Wow.
3 plots of it. So my initial deposit then was about 1.5 million, which is still within my reach. And in 12 months, I was able to pay out that 3 plots. But before the 12 months would complete, that land has already been selling for 15 million per plot. So
even if you decide to sell immediately, profit is already in.
So what I did was to say, okay, the place the land is not where I desire to stay. So I sold off the 3 and I bought, I sold off the 3 for 45 million, and I bought a house for 44 million. So that's how I got my first house.
Wow, practical.
That's how I got my first house.
Practical. Like I said, but let's move on now and see some of the challenges, because I know it's not always that rosy. You guys have issues sometimes, land, sometimes government regulations and all of that. And of course, we all seen that we now have a new Minister of Housing.
Yeah.
He was a Federal Mortgage Bank.
Yes.
At least I followed him when it was a Federal Mortgage Bank. He did I think he instituted the partnership between Labour, NECA, and all of that. And I saw some houses. I covered some of those things. So I'm sure what I'm talking about. So what are you facing with government? What do you think government can do to make your kind of business, more lucrative? How can you get what you really need and satisfy Nigerians more?
Okay, I will start from the point of I like data because they don't lie.
They don't.
First off, we do not have clean data in this country, right? So the first thing I want government to do is to see how we can get a centralized data. Because that's how you can verify what I'm saying. That's how you can verify if what I'm churning out is actually the actual fact. So what can government do? We've had a lot of problems with government regulation. For example, let me even bring it down to Lagos State. As we speak, the price of getting a building approval in Lagos have gone 1,000%. Now, I am on a project, and you can I have factored in all the cost, and that cost has to be transferred somewhere. So if I want to build a house worth 60 million, why do I have to pay almost 20-something million on approval? It does not make sense. I have bought land. I have paid all fees, statutory fees for the land. You cannot. So see, there has to be a way that the government has to understand the private developers like us. That's, we come on a round table. We have a Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. Okay. Listen to them. Let's have a round table discussion. There are a lot of things. You don't just slam. If the day you slam tax on a businessman, actually know that you are slamming that tax on the end users, because that money would be passed somewhere. So what can we do? Government regulations, let's have a more roundtable discussion. We have the data. We can all sit and come to an agreement to say, okay, this is how the policy should go and this is how it should go, because every policy you make would affect us. Now, what are the other things that affect us? cost of building materials. How can we, even if we come to the idea, even if government gives us free land to build, the cost of building materials is so enormous that even the property would not come to the end user in.
It can't be cheap at
all. The
all.
cost of building a bungalow right now, without the land cost, is not less than 15 million.
Bungalow, how many
for
rooms?
A three-bedroom. Yeah, for a 3-bedroom bungalow, it's not less than 15 million. That's if the land is solid.
Yes, that's if the land is solid and you just go in and you can.
So, it's a cost battle. We have to find a way to reduce cost somewhere.
It's worrisome. And when we are trying to look at changing the face of real estate in the country, what about technology and your job? How have you been able to also, let's talk about how technology is impacting the property business.
Okay, so, well, for the marketing and sale, technology has helped in terms of, you don't have to be here to inspect property and all that. That's So with technology, you've been able to reach end users not living in Nigeria and making sure that it is not only Nigerians that invest in Nigerian real estate. So I can be somewhere and invest in Nigerian real estate. I can be any nationality and do such an investment. So the other thing that technology have been able to do is on the government arm. So we've been able to, they are in the process of, digitalizing a lot of things.
Face-to-face things will reduce.
And, the issue of file will not leave this until me and you have a side talk or something like that. So that technology is the way to go when it comes to properties. Now, technology has also helped us build platforms where people can co-own properties. Because if you are an investor and you want to invest in property and that's what you want to do, technology, there are platforms that you can go. We call them real estate investment trust funds that you can, co-own, crowdfund real estate projects and provide money for a developer to build. And after the entire project cycle, you sell off and you make profit off it. So technology has created a good and great impact, and it's still creating it.
Now we are moving to eco-friendly buildings now, structures now. You go places and you see a lot of green, everyone is going green. Even when some people think that maybe Nigeria will still have to do a lot before we say we want to put fossil fuel behind us. But with what we have, are you thinking about eco-friendly projects already?
All my projects are eco-friendly as we speak. In short, the name of one of my estates is Eco Value Garden City. That's to show you how important eco-living is to me. See, Lagos, especially Lagos, you have to, once in a while, go out of Lagos to detox because there are a lot of industrialization, there are a lot of fossil fuel in the atmosphere. You breathe in a lot of, harmful chemicals. So we are creating an eco-friendly environment. Now, according to United Nations, everybody should be looking at, creating an eco-friendly environment. The cars we drive, what drives our industries. We need to, everybody's going eco. And that's a focal point for us, even in my establishment.
That's a good one. So what's your outlook for the industry and, of course, for your establishment too? What's your outlook considering the challenges? You champion the affairs of Adozi Homes and Reality Limited. What's your outlook despite all of these challenges?
This is the best time to buy real estate, especially if you are a Nigerian in diaspora. Now, when there is a dip and there's a high in currency, so you have more value in currency and there's a dip in real estate, this is the best time to buy real estate. And don't just buy real estate from a professional because that's where a lot of people get it missing. So the outlook is real estate is still the best form of storing wealth. No billionaire that I know does not have wealth in real estate. Everybody you know. And real estate is the surest form because you can see it, you can touch it, you can handle it. It's not some numbers flying. You understand? So real estate is still the surest form. So invest in real estate and invest through a professional and invest through a reliable company, which we are positioning Adozi Home to be. we say we redefine trust.
Interesting stuff. Something just pricked my mind as we wrap up this segment of the show. It's about standards. You know what happened sometime, I think 2 years ago around the Koi. I don't want to be specific, but you know what I'm talking about. The owner of that property, may he so rest in peace, was on my show, and we spoke extensively about that property then. And we've seen series of, even in Banana Island, So what are you doing? You have an association and all of that. I always have this belief that as an association, you should also be able to, within yourselves,
advise ourselves.
So what are you doing around that?
So we've engaged Standard Organization of Nigeria because that is where every product standardization starts. So if we have, because most of this collapse you see is not 100% the fault of the person doing the development. It's a fault of the person. So you have the person supplying the iron rod. If the iron rod you are supplying, if it's a Tiger iron rod and you went to rebrand it to be another thing, you have messed up the entire value chain, the entire process. Now, it goes for the people that are in the quarry. So if you're giving me a 3.5 diameter gravel, it should be a 3.5. Don't mix it with the other style just to make more money. If you are the engineer on site that is signing up the project, do not sign off a project just because you're giving a brown envelope. You must see, it is all a collective responsibility of everybody, both government and the individuals doing it. Because I maintain standard on my own site. But hey, there was a time I bought iron rod, which I do not compromise on, and it got to site, and my iron benders will just bend the iron, and it breaks like a plank of wood.
I'll tell you, I'm
and
going to
you
use
start
this.
asking a question, how did this make it into your stock? Because I trust you, my supplier, to give me something better. If I had not noticed this would have been gone.
So it's like an institutional problem. It doesn't just start at that point.
That's it.
It's worrisome. Well, let's be hopeful.
Yes.
We know policymakers and everyone that are listening to us, and of course our business people, and we'll keep a tab on this, and we'll definitely have you in again whenever we have issues around housing, projections of government. What would you say to the minister? Let's set an agenda for him. Yes, I don't put you on the spot, but say something. What do you want to say?
28 million housing deficit. We are ready. Let's solve it together.
All right there, Dr. Simon Adozi there, an investor, market and sales strategist, real estate investment coach. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Really appreciate this. Hope to have you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
Deeply appreciate it.
All right then.